Now we come to a step in the process of developing a successful marketing system for your brand, for your farm business brand, that a lot of farm business owners seem to consider. Well, let me put it this way: a lot of farm business owners in this part of the world, and when I say this part of the world, I mean Africa and especially Nigeria, they seem to think it's completely unnecessary, and it can be a tug of war convincing them that they need to do it. And this has to do with having a flagship online presence developed for them by way of a website that is linked to relevant um, complementary platforms like social media pages and all of that. I am going to illustrate, okay, why it's important for you to have a website of your own and indeed a web marketing system, using a little story, a short story. Uh, Funny enough, actually, it's not just farm business owners that need to have a website, by the way. It's every single person who is looking to sell anything to anybody, anywhere, no matter how remotely you may be based, no matter how rural you think your environment might be. Every single person that desires to make sales of any sort to any other group of individuals or communities will need a website. Now, how elaborate your website becomes, or how elaborate your online presence becomes, will be a function of what you eventually decide to do. But at the basic level, it's important to have a URL that points to a space on the web that is yours. And like I said, I'll tell you a story to illustrate why this is important. I think about 4 days ago, I was with a gentleman. He runs a business. He's been into international business for some time, imports and exports, things like that. And he's recently been based back here in Nigeria, but he's planning to resume traveling again, generally to Asia. And he had some customer. A customer came to him, did some big job, but because he runs like a print shop where he prints jobs for people. And this individual did a print job with him and was so impressed by the quality of work that they changed, the exchange numbers. Uh, I was sitting with him in his office when this exchange took place. Then, when the gentleman left, we began to converse. About 3 hours later, while we were discussing, a call came into his phone. He picked it up, and I heard him saying, "Oh yes, yes sir. Okay, thank you sir. Yes sir." And apparently the guy was expressing appreciation for the good job done in terms of the quality of print and all that. And then the man said something to him that made him pause. And he said, "Oh, yeah. Apparently that's because you don't know me. Please, sir, go to," he now mentioned his website.com, and just go there right now and you'll see more. Okay, you saw me with those white people in the photograph on my WhatsApp profile. Okay, no, I'm not a Yahoo boy. No, I'm not into Yahoo. I actually have a lot of contacts in society in the developed world, and I've traveled quite a bit, and I'm actually even doing a lot of stuff now that's going to take me traveling again. So just check my website.com and you will learn more about me." And when the phone call ended, I looked at him and said, "What was that about?" He said, "Oh, the gentleman saw my profile photo and was questioning me about where exactly those white people in the photo were from and how it was that I got connected with them. And he was asking me that he hoped that I wasn't into something like maybe scamming people and all of that when I travel." So I had to tell him to check the website. I said to him, "Do you realize that 2 months ago you didn't have that website?" Because this was something I had actually built for him. I said, "Do you know, if you had not had that website, it would have taken you a lot more effort to explain where exactly that photo came from and why you even have that kind of a photo on your profile." Because the man was already thinking along those lines. Probably you could say for good reasons, since a lot of people who are, um, out here seem to think the 419 scam Yahoo thing is the best way to go. So it's difficult for people to not believe that that's what you are into when they see photos like that. I said, but the fact that you had a URL that you could instantly and immediately give to him made it so much easier for you to eliminate that what could be called noise that wanted to be introduced into your relationship. If you had not had that website ready, it would have been more difficult to convince him. Whatever you would have told him would have been taken with a pinch of salt. But not only does the website exist, but it contains a lot of information that will further boost the perception, the positive perception the gentleman has about you when he checks it out. And what I'm trying to say in essence is this: it doesn't matter what kind of business you are doing, if you do not invest in building a befitting online presence for yourself, what you are effectively doing is shooting yourself in the foot. Because in today's world, the first thing most people do is to try and find out if you have an online presence. Even when they know you are a next door business, they still want to check you out on the web. They're going to Google your name as an individual. They're going to Google your company name most likely. They're going to check for your phone number, your email address, your your profile, what clients you've done work with many times before they meet you. People even like to do that. That's kind of background check on you. An employer is looking at a young person who's applying for a job and is also doing the same thing. They're doing checks on you, background checks on you, checking your social media pages, checking where you're the kind of places you are visible. Now, if you do not control your online presence, then what you are doing is you are making yourself prone to being misrepresented by the different platforms. If I was to give you another example by way of a story, I'll tell you about a gentleman. I don't want to mention his name. Okay, let me just mention his first name. First name is Victor, but I will not mention his surname. But there was a time I spoke with him. He was discussing with me about Bud Dubin and attending and enrolling for Bud Dubin's mentoring. And after we finished our conversation, we exchanged some messages on I think WhatsApp and also email. So out of curiosity, because he told me what he did, he's a business consultant, I decided to go and do a Google search with his name, which, like I told you, is what most people tend to do when they're interested in somebody and they want to maybe go further in the relationship. They use the search engines primarily to do a background check on the individual, and sometimes they do searches on specific platforms like LinkedIn, like Facebook, and stuff like that. So I did the search with this gentleman's name, and would you believe that he came up, or let me put, somebody with the name came up on the first page. It was riddled with reports about this individual who had been sentenced to jail in the UK. The exact same name. It was scary. And I told myself, this can't be this guy. It's impossible. So I opened the one of the links and I read, and I found out that this individual was a completely different human being, bearing the exact name from the same exact place in Nigeria. All right. But he was living in the UK. This other gentleman that had spoken with me with the same name was living here in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt. And I said to myself, what a disaster this is for this man, because apparently he did not have an online presence to even give him a chance in the first page of results that Google was showing to me. So I called him up and asked him, are you aware of so and so results in the first page of Google? He said, oh yes, my brother, I've been aware. I don't even know what I'm going to do about it. And I said, you don't know? I said, if you had maintained an active presence on the internet, believe me, there's no way this kind of negative report from a namesake would have entered into the first page of the Google results. And I told him, I said, do you know how many people would have been at the point of taking a decision about engaging you, probably for a project, and would have changed their minds just because they saw that reason? Not because some of them might not even believe it was you, or they might even click on the links and look at the photos and see it wasn't you, but they'll be scared that if they were to engage you, other people might not be so discerning, and they might see such a search engine result and just conclude that the person that was hired, that is you, is a crooked person or a crook that was sentenced to jail in the UK. So the point is, nobody wants to have that kind of cloud dangling over him credibility wise, and that's why it's important to control what the search engines are saying about you. One of the ways to control what the search engines are saying about you, or what the internet can say about you, is to have your own online presence, your own flagship online presence, your branded social media pages, all linked to that online presence you have at www.yourname.com, and you constantly generate new content that you promote and publish on that platform disseminate through the web, through syndication of whatever other formats you have, automation, to ensure that at all times you saturate the internet with your content that makes you look good and that presents you in the way you want to be presented. Many people make the mistake of thinking they don't need this, but when they do that, they're actually being short-sighted. So I'm urging you, understand, especially if you're a farm business owner, this becomes even more imperative in today's world. More and more people now are, because of all these challenges that have happened in the through the coronavirus pandemic, there are a lot of people now who do work at home. They are in work at home situations. So because of that, many of them will also want home delivery of stuff like even farm goods. And therefore, if you are not capable of making yourself found using the internet, what is going to happen is you're going to miss out on possibility of making some extra sales that might actually be high profits. Now, in case you don't, maybe, I just want to be clear, in case you don't understand why it's so important to control the perception that people may have about you based on whatever it is they see, excuse me, on the internet. Let me quickly just explain. What I'm saying is this: if you remember that in the process of the sales process, attention, interest, desire, and action. All right, you want to take people through that process to decide to do business with you by taking action to buy from you. In order for them to take action to buy from you, and pass from that process of you getting their attention to them generating interest and having desire and then taking action to buy, they need to trust you. That's ultimately what you're trying to do. You are trying to move them from a position where they did not know about you and therefore had no reason to trust you, to one in which they feel so familiar with you that they are willing to trust you, that paying you money will be worth whatever the value of the money they're giving you is. So when you leave the perception about you to chance by not having an online presence that is befitting and that is elaborate enough to cater for any dimensions of doubt they may have, what you are effectively doing is making it more difficult for yourself to attract good quality buyers to you. So there's no doubt that you're going to have people who will be coming to your farm or to your business to buy from you. Some will discover you, some will hear about you. But the truth of the matter is that when you set up in today's world, it is to your advantage 99% of the time to set up a system online that enables people to discover you and to kind of learn more about you, to make up their minds whether or not they can do business with you. So you don't want to leave people the only option being, or they call you up on phone, they send you an email address, which is a blind process, both of them, and then maybe they now go physically to meet you on your farm. Come on, it all depends on what you're selling, and it all depends on what the people who are trying to buy from you want. Sometimes somebody may be as far as in Canada, but might have a brother-in-law or a brother or a relative or friend he wants to help out in Nigeria. And one of the things he might want to do is, okay, let's help him pay for, I don't know, maybe 10 or maybe 1,000 crates of eggs to start his bakery. And they need the eggs because they want to store them in the fridge. They don't want to have to go out looking for. And he's trying to decide. So he does a Google search while he's in Canada. And then nothing comes up except other people who are rivals. How would they discover that you are actually in the same neighborhood as this person that wants to start the farm? Nobody will know, because you chose not to make yourself available on the web. Then you're thinking short term as well. You're thinking, oh, look, I'm not so big. But the thing is that it's not about size. It's about making sure that you can reach out to as many as people as possible that may want to do business with you. And some of them will not be worried about size. They may be interested in just knowing that you have good quality product they can buy. But if you do not make yourself easily found, then that effectively makes it impossible for you to get discovered by those kind of people. And they might actually be very good buyers. And when you don't have an online presence, another thing that happens is you kind of get stuck with poor quality buyers, if those are the ones that eventually walk through your gates into your farm. So if there are people that come and give you crazy offers in terms of prices, crazy low prices, then you don't generally have an alternative than to just consider what they're willing to pay to get from you, because you have not given yourself the means to reach out to other kinds of buyers who may have something better to offer you. So being on the web, by way of a befitting online presence, a flagship online presence that is elaborate and accurately captures and presents you, captures what you have to offer and presents it to people that fit your target audience profile, is something that can make a world of difference to your ability to sell. All right. In fact, even when you are discussing with somebody that is already engaging you by way of phone call or email or even being physically present or present to your farm, there is a way you can use the elements in your online presence to even move the person closer to making a sale. Sorry, making a purchase. These are things that I can explain to you in more detail. Of course, I cannot cover all of that in this recording, but I just wanted to point out that there is a big picture to this. It's not just about just having a website for the sake of having a website. A website, and indeed an online presence, is an instrument that can be used to facilitate the marketing process, to lead potential buyers to become clients who pay money to get what you are selling. That is the truth. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So there are so many other reasons for you to have a website, but these examples I've given you, these stories I've told you, and the scenarios I've painted for you should make it clear. If you want to make sales, okay, you want to increase the marketing reach and impact of your brand, and one of the best ways to do it at low to zero cost is by having a website and building a web marketing system. If you need more specific details on how to go about doing this, reach out to me. I wish you well.